So I'm noticing something that everyone else isn't necessarily picking up on yet that is very troubling. As far as I can tell, the only people that are celebrating the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini, the only ones who are celebrating the downfall of the Iranian government and the regime are the women in Iran. Why is that? You know, we had a women's rights liberation movement here in the United States about 40 years ago. We've lost everything. We no longer have family. We no longer have wives. Our women no longer have children. We're approaching a population collapse. There's no harmony. There are no families anymore here in the West. None of my friends are married. None of my friends are getting married. And all of our women want to be prostitutes, sell their bodies, be naked on the internet. There is nothing wholesome or family oriented at all. See, one thing about religion, which if you notice, it's always women who want to reject religion. But why is that? It's because religion gives you standards you are supposed to live by as a human. We've removed religion from our society here, and look around. Look what you have. You have men wearing dresses. You have kids confused about their gender and their sexuality. You have women who completely burn themselves out with their sexual liberation. And by the time they turn 30, they are depressed. They are alone forever, childless, husbandless, with no purpose, trying to figure out how to get the government to support them because they have no one. There's no family anymore. So when you're watching what's going on in Iran and there's women celebrating, did we really win? What did we win? Trump can't even give us a clear reason for why we need to attack and dismantle Iran. See, say what you want to say about a secular country, but at least they have families. At least the men have wives. The wives have children. These women are in such a hurry to get OnlyFans in Tehran. They are in such a hurry to be able to pose nude and naked on Instagram for the attention. They want to live like Westerners. The women want to be sexually liberated. This has nothing to do with freedom. This is the destruction of family, which eventually is the destruction of mankind. There will be no more children. That means there's no more replacing you. See, children are a byproduct of marriage, of family. A bunch of broken homes are not creating the next generation. Say what you want to say about countries like Iran, China, and Russia, but people are married. We don't have that anymore in the West. Not in the United States, not in Canada, not in the UK, not in any of these Western nations. So who really won? Women. But if you look around, it's women who have been at the forefront of the destruction of society. Today is we want the freedom to drive. Tomorrow is, I don't even know what a woman is. I think a man should be able to fight her in a cage because men and women are the same. There was a reason why our ancestors kept women in a very small role, which came to do with child rearing and cooking meals. There was a reason historically for it. We have 40 years of case study now to see how women vote, what women believe, what women support, what women are willing to protest for. And everything is anti-human, anti-family, anti-child, anti-American. So we've seen that. And now we lost another country that had families, another one down. You know, not too long ago, the Russians said that this entire war in the world right now between the East and the West, it's really just a war between countries that have pride parades versus countries that won't allow pride parades. Now, the women in Tehran are celebrating because they will finally be able to have a gay pride parade in Tehran. These women want to be gay so bad. This is all. They will destroy their entire society that has been built up over a millennia. They don't care. They just want to be able to exploit themselves sexually at their own whim, no consequences. They no longer want to be mothers. They no longer want to be wives. They think that seeing women selling themselves on the street corner and on the internet, they think that is liberation. But those women, they are begging for a man to marry them so they can put on a burqa, so they can cover themselves up and be in a kitchen and have they wish, but they're burnt out by a certain age. Nobody wants to take you back after that much history. That's the reason why it's been a historical consistency that has been required for men to protect women from themselves. They don't know what they're asking for. Now, let me provide my evidence, shall we? Oh, and do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the viewers and thank you guys for tuning in. Share this video. As men, if you're a man and you're watching this, we've lost everything. We lost our wives to feminism. We lost our children to homosexuality. Your feminist wife turned your kids gay. It wasn't the school per se. They reinforced it. The counselors protected the teacher who was grooming your child. The mother is the one who made sure you didn't know about it. This Iran, say what you want to say about them, but they had family structure. You never see their women out in the street. They're at home where they can be safe and protected, taking care of the children while the men go out and work and put themselves in harm's way. These women want to dismantle that. They want to join the rest. It looks tantalizing being able to walk up and down a street corner with a thong on and be able to sell yourself to any man who pulls up in a car and has $150. You might think it's a joke, but to these women in these other countries, they consider that peak. They consider that peak feminism. Even women here in the United States, that's what they have considered being sexually liberated and free for the past 30 years. And all you see now is regret and anxiety. And these women are desperate and worried. There are dating events right now where they're literally charging women $100 to get in, and it's free for men, and men won't even show up. We won't show up because the women at these events are in their 30s. Okay, baby, what were you doing in your 20s? So you want me to take you with your history, and then you're begging me to take care of you and support you. Why would I take care of and support somebody who's another man's ex cum bucket, cum rack? Why would I do that? See, these women are begging for you to take care of them and provide for them. And they're begging you to do it with their history. The beautiful thing that at least now we have passports. They want to make Tehran a passport, bro, a destination. The problem is there's still men there, but the women are rejecting the men. It's the women who want to be gay. There are men that want to be gay, but that's so far outside of their societal norms. And it's something that's punishable by death in certain situations because that lifestyle is anti-human. There is no children that will come from that lifestyle. The point of being a human is to be fruitful and to reproduce. Without that, you really have no other purpose. We are supposed to be here for the human experience. Trying to reinvent the wheel has not worked. Just because we're living in the future, you think it's a good idea we should water grass with Gatorade because of the electrolytes. You're wrong. Nothing is going to work outside of the way we've done things traditionally since the beginning of time for us as people. This is the side effect of when you're basically taunting other societies with this, what it appears to be liberated, but really it's a prison. Yes, women can do what they want to do, but they regret it later. And then us as men, we have to fly to other countries now just to meet women who can qualify to be a wife that won't fucking embarrass us. Our society is falling apart, but we're trying to give others advice on how they should live, which is fucking asinine. But I will present my case.
To all the people in core community and all the allies of core community, This message is for you, and I'm sending you this message in desperate need of your support.
The Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't understand basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Unfortunately, that is true, but these are not any Iranians. These are the same radical Muslims that are supported by the regime. The same regime we're fighting against. The same regime where in it the people who unalive homosexuals will not face a big punishment because they killed the sinner.
What she's saying is that the current government in charge, they have punishment for people that are homosexuals. She is explaining how badly her and tens of thousands of other women like her, how badly they want to be gay in peace. They want to be gay. They don't want to be mothers. They don't want to be wives. They're not looking for the freedom so that they can go to the store by themselves, or so that they can get a bank account, or so that they can go to a casino and spend money. That's not the freedom they're going for. They no longer want to participate in humanity. They don't want to be mothers. They don't want to be wives. Where does that leave people? These society is supposed to be structured so that it can flourish, not so that it can self-extinguish. What is being pushed right now is now a further deeper depopulation. Again, we are approaching a population decline, which is why all these European countries are importing people from the third world. But what happens when the third world decides they want to be gay too? See, being gay is a luxury. You have to, once you run out of problems in life, now you can start questioning where you want to stick your dick and stuff. But when you're worried about food, we have food insecurity and water insecurity, and you're dying from malaria, you're not too worried about, rubbing mustaches with another dude. That's a luxury. And that comes from too much abundance. These people in Iran, they have been slowly leaking Western ideology into their culture for the past years. For the last 10 years. Before that, their marriage rates were 80, 90%. Divorce wasn't really a thing. It was something so rare and unheard of. But now they're the worst parts of our American society are starting to spread to other parts of the world. And it's tempting for women. That's why the title of this video is Women Won, but Men Lost. What did women win? Women have now won pride parades. They're going to be able to be as gay peacefully as possible. It's not the men that are pushing to be gay in Iran. It's the women. The women are the ones who want to destroy the family. The women are the ones who want to destroy the population of their country and their own people. And to be honest with you, without women cooperating, you no longer have a society, since women are the ones who control the birth of our children.
Same regime wherein it being a homosexual is punished by imprisonment, 100 lashes, and death penalty. So to all the people in queer community and all the allies of queer community, I ask of you to stand with the people of Iran who want this Islamic dictatorship gone. So maybe one day our Iranian queers can walk in their homeland freely, knowing their existence is not punished by death.
Beautiful fucking girl, gorgeous. And all she wants to be is gay. See, the whole purpose of being attractive since the beginning of time was so that you can attract a husband that would want to have children with you, so that he would be so infatuated with you, he'd be willing to die for you. He'd work himself to the bone to support you. He would give anything for his wife and his children. That basic function of human society is being ripped away piece by piece. It no longer exists. I don't know any men willing to die for a woman. I don't even know any men willing to move a woman into their apartment anymore, let alone trust her enough to purposely want to have children with her to the point where he would have two. Most women I know nowadays, they have one kid. The man who they had that kid with, it wasn't on purpose. And you know it wasn't on purpose because he would never have children with that same woman ever again. And these women, the women over here in the US, are destroyed mentally because this reality is setting in. And then you got women that have been so protected and shielded in their countries for so long that they're begging for it. And this, again, is why you have to protect women from themselves. They know not what they do.
Thank you. To all,
Let's go ahead. There's more. They're celebrating death. They're celebrating the death of the Ayatollah. They want to strip. They want to have strip clubs. They want to be degraded. They want to be naked on Instagram without being arrested. They're burning pictures of the man that has shielded their society for the last 40 years. The crazy part is when women historically have destroyed societies, they don't have the strength or the know-how to rebuild them. So guess who that's left up to? Which is why I'm complaining about it. And this is an example of what I was talking about. Iranian women are celebrating the fact that they now have freedom to strip, to sell themselves sexually, to have gay pride parades, to have sex with other women. But yet the women beneath them, the women here in the US, they're protesting out of frustration because they've lost everything. They can't find a husband. And because they can't find a husband, there's no men who are willing, involuntarily willing to have children and get them pregnant anymore. So these women are getting older and lonelier by the hour. The reason it's not the same for men is because men, we are Americans, right? American men, we earn something called money. With money, we can afford something called a passport, which is an amazing instrument. What that does is that it opens up the doors to 190 plus other nations full of traditional women who are not yearning for the freedom to be gay and to never be wives and never be mothers. It opens up our doors to countries where women have literally dreamed their whole life of being wives and mothers and taking care of a family. See, that's what men with money want. That's what we work hard for. That's the entire motivation for why we get up every single day and we go out and we slave. We work ourselves to the bone. We recreate ourselves. We battle in competition with other men over resources so that we can have our pick of the litter. The good thing about being a man in the US is that our picks got larger. We have more options because we have something called passports. These women in America, unfortunately, they're at the top of the food chain. Being an American woman, if they go to another country, the men are going to be expecting them to pay for everything. And they can't even get a man to pay for stuff here. But now you got to have men expecting you to pay for everything. These women have no idea. These Iranian women have no idea what they just got. They have no idea what they're asking for. But unfortunately, it's going to take 20 plus years before they figure it out, which is the sad part because, well, that's going to be the end of the Iranian society. Who's going to be willing to still have children and get married with men when this is the predominant culture amongst women that is spreading throughout the country? This mind virus, this ideology of being free, this ideology of gay equals free. Gay equals I don't have to have a husband tell me what to do. I'm not a slave to children. I'm gay. I can go have sex with other women and I can just get old. If only it was that easy. It's not. All women everywhere celebrating. It's not even equal. I don't see any Iranian men that are celebrating the fact that they are losing their families.
Living in Iran, you're not allowed to have an opinion as a woman. You're not allowed to show any skin or hair. And if you do, you're going to get beat.
And you don't think, me and him are both wearing MAGA hats. I don't think he's thinking about this. Have you ever wondered why? they do this in other countries? You ever wonder why in the countries where they have these practices, the rate of marriage is where it is and the childbirth rate is not in the gutter like it is here in the US? If freedom leads to the death of your society, are you really free? Are you looking for the freedom to be able to suicide yourself? If that's what you're calling for freedom for, then you don't need it. Then freedom isn't a good thing. If you're saying, Rico, I'm fighting for freedom and I'm fighting for my rights, and I'm like, okay, cool. What rights are you fighting for? And they tell me I'm fighting for the right to be able to kill myself. Well, now we're in a catch-22. Maybe I don't believe in freedom as much as I think I do. Because if what you want to do with this freedom is kill yourself, well, then I would want to stop you, because I believe life is precious. I don't want to see you lose everything just because you have the right to do so. That's why when someone tries to commit suicide, if they don't die, they're charged with a crime. It's not legal for you to kill yourselves, which is what happens when you allow a society to self-exterminate by literally not following any traditional values. Children are a must. If women go on strike and say we're never going to have kids anymore, what are men supposed to do? Let our society die and say, oh, well, in the name of equality and freedom, fuck it. Everything that we've built for tens of thousands of years, it's over. And I think we're at that point now where we're trying to figure out, why are women working against us? Men are trying to keep society together and build. Women are tearing it apart and going the opposite direction. They now want to be gay and they no longer want to have kids. How do we reconcile? There's only two genders. What do we do?
Or even unalive for showing some skin. Trump took down Maduro of Venezuela within 24 hours, not even. And he just did the same exact thing, took out their leader of Iran within not even 24 hours. And there's videos of Iranians doing the Trump dance, thanking Trump, saying they want to kiss Trump, and they're so thankful right now. Imagine how.
Even in his videos, there was one guy. The only people celebrating the destruction of Iran are women in Iran and women abroad. They want to be able to go back and open up an OnlyFans in Iran. They want to be able to sell sex in Iran. They want to be able to walk around naked and topless in Iran. They want to be able to make videos like this in Iran. Instead of being wives and mothers, they want the freedom to do this. This is what they want to do. They want to make videos like this. Now, we have 30 plus years of case study. The women who make videos like this, do they ever get married? They do not. No matter how pretty and beautiful they are, they only just get old. No one is looking at a woman making videos like this and says, you know what? I can't wait to get her pregnant. Hopefully my daughter will be just like her mother and do the same. No one's anticipating this. No one wants this. It looks good on the surface. And if you're looking to pay someone $40 to $180 for a good time, this is appealing for that. But would you want to put a ring on this in front of your family and friends, in front of God, in a church? Are you going to be willing to go to war to protect this? That was what our society was built upon. Men had women and children at home. We went abroad and we fought in wars, and we were willing to die to protect our families at home. We no longer have those. We don't have women and children at home. These women don't have children. These women will never have children unless it's on accident. There's no family in the future. We don't have families here in the West anymore. That's a thing of the past. And even if you want to have a family, if you're influenced by Black culture, they will tell you that having a family is one of the hallmarks of white supremacy. So it's not even socially acceptable anymore to have children and get married and be a respectable, responsible adult. That's not even a thing anymore in the West. And to watch that this is exactly what the women in Iran are begging for, help me, God. Now, here we go. In London, Israelis and Iranians together Iranian flags and Israeli flags. Yes, it sounds good on the surface until you realize what is one of the number one things that the Israelis and the Zionists push. It's the gay agenda. Who creates the books that go into your school that tell your son that he should want to touch a boy, and they secretly read these to your kids? Who published the book Gender Queer? Who's confusing your kids with their sexuality? Who was doing it 100 years ago? Magnus Hirschfeld. What was his background again? When they burnt those books in the Reich, who created those books? It's the same people that the Iranians are celebrating with right now. And those people can't wait to start pushing the homosexual agenda in Iran on state television to help them stop reproducing with each other, to destroy their family, to remove religion, which and what is religion there for? To teach you how to have a family, to teach you how to interact between men and women, to teach you the order and structure of life. And they are removing that. Remember, the Israelis, for the most part, they are atheists. They don't believe in Judaism. That's why they call themselves Israeli. They're not Jewish anymore. They're not Orthodox. They're this completely separate thing. And Iran is going the same way. They want to do the same in Russia. Russia is one of the last countries where you can't even adopt kids if you're gay anymore, because the gays would adopt the kids and then the kids would come up dead or missing. And when the Russians went to do welfare checks, the gay people from the West that would come there to adopt it will say, "What kid?" "Oh, I think the kid ran away." And the Russians are like, "What do you mean a 3-year-old ran away?" So they understood what was going on with the gays, and they banned it. They don't allow pride parades. Men have wives and children, and they believe in family. They're a Christian Orthodox country. That's why they say the Russians and the Americans, we ideologically have more in common with each other than we do with the Europeans. The Europeans aren't even necessarily our allies anymore. We're closer aligned with the Russians. We don't want pride parades here in the United States anymore. That's our system that's pushing that. That's our media that pushes it. We are rejecting it as a people. But when you go, but think about it. 30 years ago, the women here were begging for it as well. They thought sexual liberation would mean happiness for them, but now they're more miserable than ever. I do body cam footage, reaction videos all the time. It's like 90% women trying to find ways to get the attention of the police so that a man will show up and arrest them and grab them and hold them and argue with them, because while the rest of the men in their life have walked out on them and nobody wants to deal with them. So the only people that have to deal with you is law enforcement. That's how bad the state of affairs are here in the United States when it comes to relations between men and women. Most men I know, we save up our money and once a month we fly to another country. We don't even deal with the situations here. We don't date anymore. That's why the clubs are empty. We don't want that lifestyle anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. And to see people in Iran praying for it and begging to be gay. Look at this beautiful woman right here. She's so happy she can finally be gay. She can finally get naked. She can finally get on OnlyFans, and she can finally, maybe she can get on Arrows and start selling it. She can't wait for all the worst elements of American society to make its way to Iran. And you got to ask yourself, what is she so happy for? What is it that she wants to do that the Ayatollah Khomeini was stopping her from doing? The number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 things were being gay, being naked, exposing your body, selling yourself on the internet, being with men who are not your husband. You know, if you think about all the issues we have with women being sexually assaulted and murdered and all these bad things, if they were married with their husbands here, those would not be issues. We wouldn't have those ailments in society. She'd be with her man. Her man's job is to protect her. We don't even want to protect these women anymore. These women are on their own. I seen a woman with a flat tire the other day, and she was yelling because more than 20 men walked right by her. I made 21. Where I'm not stopping to help a stranger woman. You guys don't need men anymore. Matter of fact, where is your man? Why don't you have one? You guys forgot the importance of men, but that's a psyop as well. See, you push these gay agendas into a society when you want that society to be destroyed. And don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Our society here in the United States, because of this gay agenda, because of this feminist agenda, because of the black culture, Marxist agenda, we're cooked here in the United States. The only hope we have is to go married and have kids with women abroad and import them. And hopefully they'll hold on to their traditional values and they won't have too many conversations with American women that'll change them and make them want to get a divorce and break up our families here too. That's why a lot of us won't even bring our women from other countries here. We'll work here, we'll live here, but we'll have our families elsewhere because it's just not safe. Because you can't protect women from themselves if they are being manipulated by other women who are in worse situations. You wouldn't believe how many American women I meet that are older. If they see a younger, pretty woman who's a foreigner with an American guy, the first thing they try to do is get in her ear and try to get her to play herself out of her position and throw her family away. Because women are miserable. And what do they say about misery? It loves company. So yeah, these women are celebrating, but who really won? What did we win? We lost another stable society that had high marriage rates and they were still having children. That's a thing of the past in the West. You know how many men are thinking about, you know how many of us men are literally considering moving to Dubai just because we can go there, we can have wives and children and we can work and it's a stable society? Because it's not even a possibility here in the United States unless you want to get destroyed in a divorce and the woman has every incentive in the world to take your kids from you. We have to make these considerations. It's just a shame that these women are begging for their entire society to be destroyed just because they want to sell sex and they want to be gay. It's a fucking shame. Let me know if your thoughts or if you agree or not. I appreciate you guys for being here. This has been, I mean, trust me, this is not a necessarily conversation that everybody wants to have, but I lean into the topics that are more nuanced. When I'm watching what's going on in Iran, I'm noticing like, why aren't there any men celebrating the Ayatollah dying? Where are all the men? Why is it only women? Whenever I notice only women are for something, that's a really bad indicator. It means whatever women are all pro for, that means it's something extremely fucked up for everybody else. That's why you have to ignore women or do the opposite. You can't really give them too much say because they don't have the best history when it comes to making sound decisions and when it comes to judgment. But, you know, I mean, you want to humor everyone's conversation and give everybody a say so, there will be consequences. And we're dealing with them right now. Yeah, they exactly, Linda. They want to be free to doom themselves. They want to have the freedom to kill themselves. And if that's what you're using freedom for, now you're abusing freedom. That means you have too much of it. Think about it. They're abusing our tax money. That means us Americans, we make so much money, we pay so much in taxes that we can afford to send $5 billion so that they can do sock puppet, transgender, gerbil, pride parades and puppet shows in Cambodia. Like, what the fuck? That means we have too much money if we can spread it out that damn thin. If we can afford to pay 900,000 Somalian daycares that have no kids, that means we are being taxed too much. We're being abused. So when you're telling me I want to use my freedom so that I can have the right to kill myself and kill others and kill my unborn kids, now you're abusing freedom. Bro, I've been trying to tell my Democrat family all the time about the gay and feminist agenda destroying America, but they want to stay blind. I tell people about it every single day on this channel. People used to argue with me, but the problem is when they try to fact check me and they go read into it, they can't. A lot of the people that used to argue with me, it's not like they've went away. They just listen now because it's really hard for them to make the case. Like, for example, I have a friend, right? He has 4 daughters and a son. And he was talking to me about Trump in the Epstein list. Trump this, Trump that. He's a Democrat. And I was like, but my friend, Gavin Newsom passed a bill to protect pedophiles in California, and it's a law. Epstein was a powerful man. He didn't have the power to make a law to protect pedophiles. Gavin Newsom did that. So there's no way you can support Democrats and Gavin Newsom passing Senate Bill 145 to protect pedophiles so they don't got to register on the sex offenders list when they're caught molesting and sodomizing little boys. There's no way you can support that, but then pretend that you're so outraged because of stories and rumors about Trump with kids. You love that. You must be complimenting Trump because there's no way you can be mad about that, but you support this. There's no way you can support pride parades, but have an objection to what Epstein was doing. It's the fucking same. What do you think that lifestyle, the LGBT, the whole thing was created around kids, trying to find a legal apparatus to protect them when they go after kids. It's all about changing it from a crime to a sexual orientation that deserves protection. That's why the P in the LGBTQP, the P is for pedophilia, and they want it to be a protected class and no longer a crime. And it is in California, and it almost was in 49 other states. And then that's why they hate Charlie Kirk and Trump, who they brought it up and they started talking about it on his college tour. And then those laws got pushed back. It's still the law of the land in California, but it didn't make its way far east enough, which is why they hate him. What they really want is more liberties because freedom is as much restraint as it is liberation. It is. People don't understand. With freedom comes responsibility. Freedom isn't easy. Freedom means you're responsible for yourself. You're not free if the government is responsible for feeding you. If the government's responsible for making sure your kids have food at school and making sure your kids have somewhere to live with Section 8, and that's not freedom. That's slavery. That's subservience. That is, you can come up with whatever way you want to call it, indentured servitude, whatever. Well, I pay taxes when I buy Big Macs at McDonald's and they charge me 8% tax. So I'm just getting my money back, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You're still a slave. You're not free. You're not independent. You're a dependent. It's a difference. Do you really have freedom when you live under your parents' roof and you're 10 years old? You live in the United States. You're supposed to have freedom, but no, you don't. Your parents are the ones still taking care of you. You're not free. You're a child. So if you're an adult child that lives off the government and the government's taking care of you, you're not free. You're a dependent. People don't understand that is the hard part about freedom. It comes with the responsibility to yourself and to your family. And that's a lot of responsibility on men. That's why one of the only things we do require from women who, if we choose to pair up with you, is cooperation. I'm the one ultimately responsible for this family. I do need you to cooperate with me so I can take care of us. I have to help you help us. We're supposed to be a team. And we've lost that. In Iran, they have that. But now the women are having the option to be gay and leave their families. They no longer want to be wives or mothers. They want the regime to be toppled because they want to be on OnlyFans. They want to be gay. They want to be prostitutes. That's what they want the freedom for. It's all about sex stuff. It's nothing to do with anything productive. They're not saying I want the freedom to go to school so I can learn how to build renewable energy. That's not what they want freedom for. They want to fuck. It's the same thing that happened here in America. Remember, they were like, no, I want sexual liberation. I want to be a porn star. 10 years later, porn destroyed my life. I feel like everybody was preying on me. I'm a victim, and then I'm Mia Khalifa, and blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. That is the freedom. That's the responsibility that comes with the freedom. Freedom for you to also be accepting of your own decisions and choices. You have to live with them. Oh, wait a minute. You want me as a man to take your freedom away because you can't be responsible for yourself. So you want me, in essence, to protect you from yourself, but you want me to do it after the fact. But if I try to stop you from hurting yourself initially when you're younger, now I'm oppressive. Now you want liberation and you're begging other countries to come fucking bomb us so that I can go out here and fuck myself over just so that later I'm expecting a man to come put the pieces back together. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. No, you don't. No, you don't get to beat on me. I don't give a damn. You don't get to beat on me. You don't get to throw me down a flight of stairs. You don't get to talk to me like you lost your rabbit ass mind. Who are you talking to? That doesn't make any sense. So and that's the thing about these feminists and these gay women. They take everything to the extreme. These women don't have husbands. They never did. They never had an abusive boyfriend. What they do is they make up these fantasies in their mind to justify them making poor decisions. So in their head, I'm a victim. I was abused by my ex. Why? Because he dumped you. He found a prettier girl. So now you're accusing him of emotional abuse, mental abuse. You spent your own money and gas to go see him a couple times. So financial abuse, and you lie to justify what you're doing. Nobody threw you down a flight of stairs. Nobody did any of those things to you. He left you because you're a psycho. You've been a psycho because you're confused. But that's the freedom. You have the freedom to be a psycho if you want to, or you can be a traditional woman who understands your role. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get lucky enough that a man will allow you in his kitchen. You know, even having a man to the point where you're even given the option to make him a sandwich is a blessing. You know how many women, once you guys get to 31, 34, 37, 41, you know what these women say? They say I'm invisible now. Men don't even look at me no more. Men look straight through me. I'm invisible now. So you went from being desired to men wanting to have sex with you to now you're drop dead Fred. You're invisible. And but now you're bitter. You're upset. But you could have made better decisions earlier. And a man, even when you get to the invisible age, he would have still stayed with you because men are loyal. Yeah, you're not a looker anymore, but you were there in the beginning. You gave me children. We're a family. But you've aged out now, so you have to make up these stories to justify why you're alone and why nobody can tolerate you, even though you're not even half bad looking, because looks aren't everything. So what you're dealing with, you're basically, if an Iranian woman, once they get access to the internet fully, which is probably going to be a month or two away, they'll be able to see where they're going to end up in 20 years. All they got to do is just go to your profile picture. All they got to do is go read your Facebook page. And these Iranian women who are begging for sexual liberation so they can be hoes and strippers and not have children and not have kids, not have husbands, they can see what they're going to be in the future. They have a time machine. They can peer into the future. Remember, we got 40 years. We got 30 something years of internet. We can literally see where every decision is going to lead right now. You're a perfect example of what these women should avoid, but women aren't known for being smart per se. So they're not going to avoid it. They're going to walk into it. Women are followers. Women are sheep. The issue is, instead of following men now, you follow the internet. The internet's your man. Well, good luck with that. I hope the internet can feed you. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. Whether you agree or disagree, leave a comment. This video is going to go up tomorrow afternoon, but subscribe to the channel, like the video. This is my call to arms. I'm a new channel, but I do have a decent following. It's just because, again, I'm not necessarily trying to win a popularity contest. I just want to have these hard conversations with people because a lot of us are noticing the same things and we're thinkers. I don't necessarily like to take the easy topics, all the surface stuff, because that doesn't require much thought. It doesn't require much analyzing. You know, you just kind of talk about everything that's on the surface. I like to scratch and dig well under the surface and go over things that aren't as nuanced as others. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you know some Iranian women, ask them, what are you really celebrating? What did you get out of this? What'd you win? And it's going to boil down to, they want to sell sex. They want to be on OnlyFans, and they no longer want to be mothers and wives. Is that a victory for women? Let me know in the chat. If a woman has the freedom to no longer be a wife or a mother, did she abuse freedom? Or is this what freedom was supposed to be for? So that you can literally stop living the natural way. If you have the freedom now to kill yourself, are you abusing freedom or are you using freedom to its full potential? Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, you've never heard them talk about the paternity fraud, abortion rates, false rape allegations, the power they have to screw people in family court. They never, forever, absolute. Linda, thank you so much. You know, again, these are all things that we're dealing with here in the U.S., but the people in Iran, they have no idea what the fuck paternity fraud is. These women would be strung up and skinned alive if they ever thought of sleeping with another man while married and then trying to convince their husband that this other man's baby was his. Boy, you ever seen a filet of burqa? You ever seen Chef Gordon Ramsay with a falafel and some sandals? There's no way. That is something so far outside of their society's realm of consideration. They don't even know that that's how bad things are going to eventually get in Iran. They're going to be trying to convince this Persian man to take care of this kid that belongs to one of these passport bros that has came to Iran, and a part of her sexual liberation is being able to fuck whoever she wants to without any consequence and not worried about being shamed by her religion or the Ayatollah. But then when that man leaves her, now she's looking for a traditional man to support her and them kids. And she wants a Persian man, an Iranian man, a man from Iran who she's rejected to now step in and be there for her. And now she's going to have to use the same type of manipulation and shaming that the women here in the West use. It's a damn shame, and it's not going to work. But like I said, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I mean, I know it's early in the morning. I just came back from the casino, and I'm watching all the videos of the war, and I'm sitting there on these big screens in the casino. I'm like, why the fuck is it all women partying? The Ayatollah's dead. If this was a universally good thing for the Iranian people, why aren't the Iranian people celebrating? Why is it only one demographic? Why is it only the women? Again, women aren't used to thinking. Men do all the thinking, and we protect them from themselves. Now that women want to be independent and think for themselves, they're not looking forward enough to see these decisions they're making and where this is going to lead, which is a shame. So do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back with another topic in about 20 minutes here on live. So I want you guys to be able to come back. So, you know, again, subscribe to the channel. Remember, it's America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.